I'm pretty sure we have a chicken living on our deck on the kids' air hockey table. Where are the eggs? Yeah, you can't go that way. Oh, hey, look. Bad chicken.
You guys, it's snowing and it's April. Not sure if you can see this on camera, but yeah, big, huge snowflakes. This is what mornings look like for us. Cat in a box. Puzzles. Pretty sure that's a rock. Maddie's working on school and munching on her breakfast burrito. Easton working on school and munching.
I don't think I've ever been in this heavy duty a coat in April before. Look at the snow. This is 2 6x8 Brooders on one 16-foot chassis. And this is just an old trailer that had no trailer brakes, wasn't really usable anymore, didn't feel comfortable hauling anything on it. So we turned it into our 2 Brooders here. And what this is 2 6x8 houses that are kind of joined together right here, but they're 2 separate houses. And you can see the chickens over there in that one. But this one's set up for our chicks tomorrow. And we're going to show you how we set it up. All right, so we like to replace these. These are just your regular reflector that you can get from any hardware store. And I like to replace them once a year typically, because we run them all the time throughout the spring, summer, and fall. And these things are known to cause fire, so you gotta be really careful with them. So we use 250 watt lamps. They're the red ones. And the reason we use red is because they project a red light. So if one of the chickens starts bleeding, the other chicken can't see the blood with the red light, so they won't continue to peck it. So it's important we use 250 watt red heat lamps. Okay, so this is a 6x8 brooder, good enough for 200 chickens for up to 4 weeks. We just spread out 10 cubic yards of pine shavings. And you just want a nice layer, nice cushy layer for these chicks when they first get here. They're gonna wanna be scratching and laying in it. It needs to be dry, and yeah. So we use 3 of these small plastic feeders, and we'll use these for the first week. And they're a great size for the small chicks. If you get them too big, then they end up being too tall and the chicks actually can't get in there. And what happens is they'll stand on top of it and they'll poop in it. And you don't want chicks, or chickens for that matter, eating chicken poop. After you fill these, when you set them up, you're gonna wanna set them just outside the lights. You don't want them completely underneath the lights eating. You want them to have to come out from the light just a little bit to eat some and come back. So how we position them, we have 3 of them. You do like that, just set them right outside the light, just like that. We are in the Pacific Northwest and it's mid-April and we just got snow today. So we use a light here on this side of the brooder. We use what we call, it's a homemade hover. And so what it is basically just a box with a light inside of it. And it only sticks about there's about a 6-inch opening on all sides. And what this does is it allows the chick to run underneath the light, get warm, and then they can come out because it will hold all the heat inside the box. And we only do this for the first batch or maybe 2 batches in the spring. Otherwise, we just hang 2 heat lamps on opposite ends by rope with our best knot we know, because you don't want it falling in the bedding and starting a fire. So anyways, if you're in a warmer climate, you can get away with just 2 heat lamps. Chickens need to be at 99.5 degrees for the first week of their life. I suggest if you're new to chickens or newer that you get a brooder thermometer and put it in here. That way you know what the temperature is at all times. It's really important that you keep your brooder at a solid 99.5 or really close to it for the first week, because of fluctuating temperatures of 3, 4, 5 degrees or more can stress the chicks out. And their first week is crucial. You don't want any stress or the least amount of stress possible. And heat is the #1 thing you can do to help reduce the stress. As well as, if they aren't warm enough, they're not going to eat, they're not going to drink water, and that's going to cause more stress and cause them to die as well. Can you move this stuff so I can get out, please?
It's more fun this way though.
Okay. So, onto extension cords. Heavy duty. Do not go the cheap route on this. Get the best heavy duty power cord that you can get. Whatever length it has to be. Hopefully very short. I wouldn't be out here running a 100-foot extension cord running multiple heat lamps. Again, this can cause a fire, and it's very important you pay close attention to how you're setting everything up.
Just a dinosaur!
Now say it meaner.
Just a dinosaur!
So we use a 5-gallon water for 200 chickens, and this is more than enough for their first few weeks. Once they get about 2 or 3 weeks, we fill it twice a day, but for the first week you might fill it every 3 or 4 days. We add a couple tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, which is good for their guts and it helps with pasty butt. We put the watering system up on a brick, that way the chickens can't kick the bedding into it, because once that bedding gets soiled, you do not want it in the water. So that's also another reason it's important that it might not be empty every day, but it's important that you put fresh water and clean it every day. So we like to plug in our lights and get them going about 12 hours before we get the chicks, and that gives the brooder plenty of time to warm up, because you do not want to put brand new baby chicks into a cold brooder. So when you add the chicks into your brooder, you want to make sure you take each chick and you dip their beak in the water. That way they understand and know where it's at.
I'm making grain-free waffles.
Grain-free waffles.
Blueberry waffle. Well, grain-free waffles with blueberry syrup.
So how hard is it to make grain-free versus grain waffles? Is it more steps?
It's more expensive and it doesn't have the same texture as flour does, but it's still really good.
So what do you use, almond flour instead?
Almond flour, tapioca flour, some baking soda, eggs. I'd like to put apple cider vinegar and some goat milk in there, some vanilla, some cinnamon.
Cool.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
The same cook time?
Yeah, I just put it in a waffle maker. It fluffs up the same, it's just the texture is a little bit different.
Nice. Hey, our egg cartons came. So we ordered these from Uline yesterday at like 5 p.m. and they already came today. Pretty cool. So we need these things for the bakery because it's easier for them to handle, you know, and us 60 dozen eggs in big flats like that rather than, you know, little cartons. So it's pretty cool. I'm glad they came. We already delivered this week, but next week we can start delivering in those egg flats. Time to eat.